Deathloop is one of my favorite games of the last year, and I really loved how they were able to tell a story through the hidden world. It wasn't for everyone, you had to play a lot of different loops to get there, but fortunately now with the Golden Loop update, the breaking loop endings shed some light on questions we really didn't have answers to, and I'm here to explain it all. I already went over in great detail the story and ending of Deathloop. A link is available below for that video, but here is a quick synopsis. An organization known as the Army of the Motherland discovers Black Reef. On it, there's an anomaly, and in their research of it, they create something called Project Horizon. They figure out that this anomaly gives you some uncanny powers. Colt, our protagonist, joins the research group, falls in love with a worker named Lila, who is now pregnant with Colt's unborn baby. Colt is tasked to fly through the heart of the anomaly. In doing so, he disappears, when in reality he was stuck in a loop there for over 17 years. His unborn child is none other than Juliana, the antagonist of Deathloop. This new group of individuals known as the Visionaries come to the island with Colt to discover its secrets and begin a loop, thinking it would allow them to live forever in decadence, but in reality, it is the same day, continuously looping with none of those inside remembering the day that preceded it, with, of course, a few exceptions. Colt has a mission now to try to find his long-lost love Lila in a different timeline, but then he figures out who Juliana really is and decides to break the loop, freeing her and himself. So then Colt figures out how to kill all the Visionaries in that perfect loop day, and then faces off against Juliana, killing her and then himself. In the base game, this ending leads to a confrontation with Juliana on the beach, and the landscape, the sky, is severely changed after possibly hundreds of years of looping. Juliana then chooses not to kill him and shifts away. Now, with the Golden Loop update, that ending is a lot more fleshed out, so let's talk about it. The new ending begins with old Ramblin' Frank waking up hungover, beginning his day as he normally does, only to discover that something is different with the sky. This immediately tells me he does not remember Colt killing him the day before or the events of the game. This is as if the loop is starting all over again. It's still the first day, except they aren't in the loop, they've broken out of it. We also, of course, get to hear one of our favorite ballads from the game as an overture for this complete ending. As Frank runs outside to look at the sky, we see the Eternalists you've killed, or maybe not, are back, alive, and are out of the loop as well. The scene switches to Wenji in the complex, desperately trying to figure out what happened after killing some Eternalists who are now just dead and not coming back. That's not happening because we're out of the loop. Igor is trying to likely explain something that Wenji already knows. They start fighting. It's hilarious. We then see Charlie and Fia likely breaking up for the final time without either of them drowning, which is nice. Charlie is so upset by this that he attacks 2-Bit, the robot that helped Colt and our buddy. Fortunately, Colt is there to save his robot brethren. There's a really nice Easter egg right here in this ending. Who do we see staring at the sun but none other than Pick Rexley, the one who remembered? Her story is really incredible. A full video is available below if you want to check it out. Basically, she remembered each day, and you helped her if you chose to break out of that. This, of course, leads to Harriet singing and happy in this new reality, which I think is wildly important, and I'm going to talk about that soon. Finally, Alexis, the Wolfman, is so upset his dream of decadence and death was cut short, and we get to see his face as he weeps. Colt wheels out 2-Bit from the castle with the help of some Eternalists who don't want to kill Colt anymore, considering if they die now, they will actually die. So instead, they work with him, hoisting 2-Bit on the back of a truck with boxes of supplies. They head out into the dried up oceans. Pick Rexley is in tow, maybe that guitar guy from Carl's Bay, it's a little hard to see. And then the music slowly changes into something we've heard before. Specifically a transmission from the game world of Dishonored, the Drunken Whaler song. That song can actually be found in the game by following the super secret spy bunker questline. Again, far too exhaustive to go into detail now. A video below will explain it, but basically it's speculated, and I would say persuasively proven, that these two game worlds are connected, with the events of Dishonored, Death of the Outsider leading directly into the events of Deathloop. That big orange thing in the sky that we didn't see before is really the void dimension from Dishonored taking over after hundreds of years, like the Outsider said it would. If you look at the ending of the Death of the Outsider game, it's also suggested that maybe the Outsider saw all of this, everything that happened in Deathloop.
You have done something impossible.
We let you live. I can take you out of here.
These eyes were closed for centuries, and I saw everything. Bound here, I walked through the minds of generations. And now,
you're free. There's so much doubt, but there are some things I know are true. The Outsider is no more, and with that, the world will change in ways none of us can know. But the void is still there, echoing just beyond what you can see. And there's no one left to say who will and won't be touched by its magic.
Adding to that, during the loop, Harriet was seemingly connected to the void. She had a lot of the same characteristics that a lot of people do in Dishonored who are connected. Now that the void has essentially exploded, she is in a sense free, seems to be super happy about it, something we haven't really seen before from her character. It also explains why Juliana was able to shift away during the ending. Based on the established lore of the anomaly in Deathloop, she shouldn't be able to do that. You know, that comes from the devices and creation of being within that loop. If the magic of the void is now everywhere, then her slab will still work. It's like we saw in that clip, what was speculated would happen at the end of Death of the Outsider. With Arcane now choosing to play that Drunken Whaler song at the end of this new ending they added to kind of clear up some of the confusion, the ragtag group is going off into the unknown. I think it is more likely now than ever that the next Deathloop DLC will confirm this connection and bring these two game worlds together, possibly even having a DLC where we go back to that world. Who knows? It's very, very exciting. And just to blow your minds a little bit before I leave, there's also a lot of evidence that their other game, Prey, is also connected to the Dishonored world. But I'll leave that for another video. What do you think? You know, do you think this ending is, you know, a little more satisfactory? And do you really believe that these two worlds are connected? I'm Andy Burkowski for VGS.